Welcome. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the basic setup for a combo rig for facial expressions. Here you have the NYX Human Male Average Head, which comes bundled with ZBrush. The head has been taken off so that we can create blend shapes. Very important note that your UVs, your vertices need to be finalized before you duplicate for creating your sculpted heads. It has to be the same, and your offset on your heads will remain. You do not, in this case, make them rig ready, which is freezing your transforms. You want that offset to remain there. Alright, in order to create your heads, you're going to be sculpting those in ZBrush. This particular head comes with an internal mouth and tongue and teeth. You also have the eyes, and it is available. Again, it comes bundled with ZBrush so that you can create your own shapes. In this demo, I have left one head there for you to sculpt so that you can get all of the basic knowledge for creating your blend shapes and apply those to your particular character. Now, it's also important to take note that there are some expressions and some that are intended for lip sync. When you're creating expressions, I would recommend that you stay to the upper half of the face, the eyes in particular. And for lip sync, if you're going to do all that in one setup, I would recommend staying on the bottom half, because you can blend these together and you will have the expression or the attitude of the character and be able to use the lip sync chart. That's the most efficient way that you can have your playable or your speaking character with different expressions. Otherwise, you can sculpt the full face in the positions that you want so that you have angry mouth with angry eyes, for example, and so on. Alright, just basic setup. You've got the target head, you've got the shapes, various shapes that we just discussed, and in order to get those quickly set up, you're going to go ahead and select all of the additional shapes. You're going to select the last shape, or the primary shape, your target head, last. This target head, as you can see, is rigged with bones as well. It's a simple bone setup for your character. It's intended so that you can see what the combo rig and how that behaves. This rig has, you can create the additional bones right on your body rig, and I use a 3-bone setup for the mouth so that you can get a jaw node in here as well. And then the bottom part of the jaw is skinned to this particular bone setup. At no time, since the jaw is a rigid object, will you be rotating from this joint. It's an unnatural movement, always from this joint rotating. You can also get in some gnashing of the teeth. You rotate different ways, but there is a limitation to do that, just as you would on your own body, your own jaw. Alright, that said, we've got an addition for the eye rig as well. This eye rig is established at the axis point of the head, so the head is skinned as almost a rigid object across the top there. So if I go ahead and rotate from the axis, top of the spine there, you can see that the eyes and the jaw follow along. The eyes are not intended to rotate beyond that. You never see this as a natural motion. However, this particular bone system will suffice for adding your eye objects and then creating a rig, look at rig, which is simple splines that you can then use an aim constraint on. And if I can show this on the screen, this will control the movement of your eyes. Alright, now this does need to be rig ready if you do plan on using that as a rigging component. However, your heads, those are not going to be frozen. Alright, again, you're going to select all of the heads, and then the last head is going to be your target head. You're going to come up to the animation, or the Windows Animation Editors, Shape Editor. This is the new name for the blends-based toolset. And once your pop-up arrives, you're simply going to create blend shape. All of your shapes will be loaded in. And now if you select your mesh, you can also see that they're available in your channel box as an input. Select on that and you can get your character to blink by middle mouse button down and drag in your viewport. So you can go ahead and now put away your shape editor if you don't plan on actually creating any additional shapes at this time. Alright, so let's see. Now, as I have shown you, your blends are there. If I click on the word blink, you can see that middle mouse button down, I can blink my character. You can go ahead and key in these windows. It's an attribute, so you can go ahead and key that attribute here by right-clicking and setting a key. Make sure you're on the area of the time slider that you want to be on, location and time, before you set your keys. Also note that you've got other drivers here that you can use in order to create animation. This jaw rig is intended to use in conjunction with your morph targets. And change the view on this. Okay, so as I have done already, I've set a couple of keyframes here so that you can see how that interacts. Copy. I'm going to go ahead and make this a loop. Oftentimes you'll see the combo rig used, getting a lot of movement out of the jaw, and then the morph targets or the blend shapes are used to get that beautiful sculpted appearance throughout the facial features on a really high resolution character. Now you can see that I need to adjust the skin weights a little bit on this and it's coarsen the teeth. However, this is intended just to give you a quick idea of how to wire this in. Alright, so now you can select your head, and just a quick brief on how to place those keyframes. I'm on the time slider that I want to be on. I'm going to go ahead and key blink as 0. That's wide open. And then I'm going to key blink as closed, which is 1. We'll go ahead and key that as well. And then you can, my auto key is on, so everything that I do is going to be auto keyed. You can see that there's a keyframe on that after I've adjusted it here by the red color next to the value there. Now if I scrub through my time slider, I can see that my blink is working in conjunction with my other rig, my bone rig there. And if I add some eye movement, I can do that as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and set a keyframe to start, and then choose another location here on my time slider. I'm going to move my, I'm just middle mouse button dragging to the location of where I want my eyes to be directed, and you can see that by doing that my auto key will detect the movement and key that. Okay, so now you can also blend, as I've said. You can let's see, go ahead and add fear. I'm going to key that at the 0, and then I'm going to go ahead and add that down the road here. Okay, now I can see that I'm getting some layers of emotion and movement going on. You continue to study the movement of the face. It's actually very scientific. Many muscles in the face, and so really important to understand the facial features. Just as anatomy is the most important thing that a character modeler needs to know, your muscle structure, your anatomy for your face and how that moves and deforms is the most important thing for a facial modeler and animator. So working forward, I've provided this particular file so that you can practice with this, reverse engineer it, tear it apart, figure out how I've done it. This is an aim constraint on these particular rigging components, but the important thing is to get the eyes exactly placed on the bone structure there. And those are parented on, they're not skinned on. So tear it up, analyze it, go ahead and rig your particular character with your bone structure. Do your facial expressions, couple of expressions minimum, and get your lip sync going on. You can pick any audio file for your character if you choose. You can even create one. If you need any additional help, contact me directly, and I look forward to seeing how you implement this in your cutscene. Have a productive week. Thank you.